Very cool. All right. Happy Wednesday, everybody. I'm all mixed up this week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is going too fast. Right? Mid March. Yeah. Almost the first quarter is gone. Right? But morning, everybody. Exciting meeting today. We have a special guest. This is recorded, so everyone missed the session. And thanks everybody for joining us on the Zoom as well. I'm going to start first with our inspiration moment, and who's brave enough to read from the screen? Yes, Ishmael.
I'm brave enough. I was thinking if anybody else would volunteer.
Go for it.
Changing your mindset gives you the key to open a world full of possibility. And I cannot understand typically.
Oh, that's Ishmael. That's Ish.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, mindset's everything. You can't let a changing market or a seller's market or rising interest rates change your mindset. Stick what you do it consistently, and you'll make it. That's what I get from that.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, you have to evolve with the change and whatever that dictates, but also keep the integrity of what is it that you're trying to achieve or going after. Thanks, Ish, and some shout outs. You saw it at the meeting yesterday, whoever attended that, but just give the formal ground again to our people here locally in LA Harbor. That's the regional awards, the team awards. Gordon and Nicole, congratulations. That's for the coastal region, the entire region that got #1 in GCI, gross commission income. So that's a big achievement. Congratulations, good job, Gordon. Congrats. He's on the Zoom, I think. I haven't seen Nicole yet.
There I am.
There you are. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's a lot to do with my partner Nicole. A lot to do with her.
100%. Yeah. Well, you guys keep leading the charge. So big congrats.
Thank you.
Danielle Whitney, Team Whitney, congratulations. And between the entire region with the highest closed units as well. So that's impressive. Danielle and team, congratulations. Great work. And on the group level, group awards, we had, of course, Karen, the Prestige team. Congratulations. Number 4 in the region, entire region for GCI. So just think about how much production was last year overall. So Karen, amazing work, and of course the team. Keep it up, guys. Well done. Number 4 in the region, GCI for groups. Individual, we got Sal. Sal. Hey, don't surprise. What did I do? Okay, what did I do? Only good stuff. You, Sal, finished top agent in, number 4 in the region for profit share. Number 4 in the region for profit share.
The whole region.
The whole region. Yeah. Hey, lunch with you, Sal. And that's just again the shout outs to our people in this office here locally. So well done. And our next guest or main guest for today. It's with pleasure for me to introduce Jeff Prang, the LA County Assessor. Jeff Prang was elected in 2014 as the 27th Assessor for the County of LA and re-elected in 2018. Raised in Warren, Michigan, Assessor Prang is a graduate of Michigan State University. After graduation, Mr. Prang relocated to California, where he served nearly 18 years as a council member for the city of West Hollywood, including 4 terms as a mayor, among many other positions in the public sector. Upon taking the office in 2014 as the Los Angeles County Assessor, Mr. Prang implemented sweeping reforms to ensure that the strict ethical guidelines rooted in fairness, accuracy, and integrity would be adhered to in his office. Assessor Prang is a state board of equalization licensed appraiser, lives in Baldwin Hills with his husband Ray, and is a frequent guest lecturer at local colleges and universities and brokerages. So please welcome Assessor Prang. We'll have you. Of course, this is yours. And I'm gonna have you right over here. We're gonna control the, you're looking at over here and they're gonna see you on the Zoom.
Yeah,
The Zoom people.
it is a little bit nicer to look at actually people in real life. And I think this is actually the first in-person event.
Yes.
Like yes. I'm still going back to the Zoom meetings, but I figured if you're gonna have an in-person meeting like this, what better way to add some excitement and life into the meeting than having the county property tax assessor liven things up. But it's really want to thank Meny for inviting me. I've spoken to a number of your many offices, and Meny also serves on our assessors advisory board. It's been a great resource and asset to me during my tenure as assessor. I'm really grateful. I'm happy to have the opportunity to come here and share some information about my office and what's going on in the local market. So I know that many has probably heard me tell this jokes about a million times, so forgive me if I'm using some of the same stupid jokes I use all the time. But I always like to begin my remarks when talking to the public by telling people not only about what my office does, but as importantly, what I do not do. I do not collect taxes. I do not set tax rates. I'm not called the tax assessor. There's no such thing in the state of California as a tax assessor. The guy who collects taxes has a very intuitive title. He's called the tax collector. So when you say tax assessor, you're conflating two separate offices that do two different things. We're real estate appraisers. We determine the value of property. The auditor controller is the one that tells you what your tax rates are, and the treasurer tax collector sends you your bills. For those who are not familiar with my office, I am one of 3 countywide elected officials. The other 2 are much better known than me. That's the sheriff and the DA, although based on what we're reading in the newspapers of late, that may not necessarily be such a good thing. I administer a department of about 1,300 employees located in 6 offices throughout the county. And my primary responsibility is valuing all taxable real property, which includes land and buildings, as well as business personal property in the county. And business personal property includes furniture, equipment, and machinery, although it also includes aircraft, both commercial and general aviation aircraft, mobile homes, boats, and believe it or not, even racehorses. I oversee the largest local property assessment agency in the United States. We have about 700 appraisers. We're responsible for valuing over 2.5 million real property parcels and business assessments annually. The primary job of the assessor is the production of what we call the annual assessment roll, which is essentially just the inventory of all taxable property in the county. The assessment roll plays a number of important functions. It's important for local government, for cities and schools. They use this in anticipation of property tax revenues and preparing their budgets. It also serves as an important economic indicator, giving some insight as to the health of the local real estate market. We're currently working on the roll closure. We've got a fiscal year. June 30th is roll closure. We'll have new numbers about where the market's going after July 1st. But the most current roll is the 2021 assessment roll, which represents the 11th consecutive year of property value increase countywide. Total value of property in LA County increased, the assessed value increased by $63 billion, or 3.7% increase countywide over the previous year. The total assessed value of all taxable in the county for 2021 was more than $1.7 trillion, and it generated over $17 billion in property tax revenues, which is allocated to schools, local government, county government, et cetera. And 1.7 trillion, that's the assessed value. So as you can imagine, the market value is considerably higher. And obviously, property taxes are important because they pay for services that we all rely on every day, from police and fire, roads, hospitals, libraries, et cetera. Give you an idea of what's going on in the local market. There's a table here that displays the property value growth percentages in a number of communities in this area. And the county average is 3.7%. As you can see, every place else is kind of in line with the county average. We also included the parcel counts of homes, apartments, commercial buildings, and the total assessed value of each of those communities. Long Beach by far above the biggest and most valuable city. Moving on a little bit more to the local markets, probably no news to any of you that the housing market in LA County experienced 2 years of record highs. Housing prices increased so much that multi-million-dollar homes have now become the norm in about 50 cities and unincorporated areas throughout the entire county. I've also included another chart which gives the median sales price of single-family homes, not including condos, in this area. They also saw relatively record highs, and we anticipate that the prices will still go up, maybe not as fast as a clip as they did the last 2 years. The discount, it says Rolling Hills had a negative year-over-year increase. That's a bit of a ghost number. That's because of very few transactions, probably the one that happened. There's probably 1 or 2 transactions that led to that, but that's not reflective of property values in Rolling Hills. I'm sure you all know. Moving on from that, one of the things I wanted to emphasize is my office is also responsible for managing a number of programs to help folks save money on their property taxes. There's programs for seniors, veterans, disabled, nonprofits. One that I always emphasize over and over again with realtors is the homeowners exemption. Anybody who owns their home and occupies it as of January 1st qualifies for the homeowners exemption. It's not a huge savings. It allows us to reduce your assessed value by $7,000, which saves about $70 a year. But we know that people on a fixed income, somebody may be unemployed, any type of tax savings that's easy to get is worth applying for. You only have to apply once. It rolls over annually as long as you own the home. In the LA Harbor area, we estimate that about 28,000 homeowners who qualify for the homeowners exemption do not apply. And countywide, it's about 1/3. The reason they don't apply is because they simply don't know about it. And the reason I like to emphasize this to realtors, my very first job out of college was as a realtor with a RE/MAX brokerage back in Michigan. As you're trying to talk to your clients and prospective clients, you want to be a resource for information. You want to give them something different than your competitors. And I think offering something opportunity to save money is always something that may capture your attention. So we talk about this, hoping that those of you who do email and direct mail marketing, looking for clever pieces of information to offer your prospective clients, that this is something that you'll include. I have a little selfish interest in that. They don't give me a budget for advertising these things. So my hope is that I can steal a little bit of space on your marketing to help people who need this type of program and get to people who most likely need it. I wanted to talk a little bit, even though you heard me say that I don't do property taxes. Unfortunately, even though I don't do property taxes, 60% of all the calls we get in our office are property tax bills. So we kind of we don't say it's not my job, call somebody else. We try, if the lower level calls that we can answer, we do. And I want to talk a little bit about the property tax bill, because these issues come up all the time. So it's one of the things that's important to note that the property tax bill is actually many bills. It's a single document, but there's many different bills that are consolidated. It's a consolidated bill. Our office, the county, is only responsible for one item on that bill. The general tax levy, that 1%, that is your property taxes. All of these things, those are not property taxes. They have nothing to do with me. And it may say assessment in it. It says direct assessments. The fact that it has the same word as my title, nothing to do with me. We are not these are all different government agencies that simply put their stuff on that bill for the convenience of taxpayers, rather than sending you 15 different bills. So we have an example of a tax bill from this area. You can see the green number 1 highlights, as I just pointed out. That is the property tax. It's 1%. That will never go up higher than 2% a year. Never. So if you get a property tax bill that went up 10%, it was not your property taxes. It went up. It was one of these other things which are not property taxes. The red number 2. Those are what they call voter approved taxes, such as things for the community college, maybe their building plan, There's a water district, there's the school district, city of Calabasas, maybe place things on, oh, that's a Cat, it's not this area, it's Calabasas. The direct assessments are additional charges that are placed on, which are under the number 3. Those are additional charges that are placed on your tax bill for things such as sewer maintenance, water, fire districts, and one other thing I always like to say, when tax bills go up, people always say, I just got a letter from you. So you didn't get a letter from me, you didn't get a tax bill from me. My name's nowhere on it. Keith Knox. Does it look anything like me? Treasurer tax. Different person, different department. So if you're mad at the tax collector, that's the guy you're not mad at, not the seller. Anyway, I just think that's important so people can better understand, because usually if there's a big increase in your tax bill, it's one of these things down here that went up. And they always put a phone number right next to it. That's how you can contact the government agencies and why things go up. But usually they yell at me first, and then I explain to them who the proper person to yell at is. Next issue I want to talk about deals with Proposition 19. I know that you're all familiar with that. It was a measure that's supported by the California Association of Realtors that went into effect in 2020. Just as a recap, Prop 19 does 2 primary things. The first one is it allows homeowners who are 55 or older, severely disabled, or the victims of a natural disaster like a wildfire to transfer their tax base with them when they sell their home and buy a new one. It expands the benefits that existed under the previous law. Under Prop 19, you can transfer your tax base up to 3 times. It was previously only 1. You can transfer it anywhere in the state. Previously, it was only one of about a dozen participating counties, and you can transfer it to a home of any value. Before, it could only be a home of equal or lesser value. The second thing it does is it greatly reduces the inheritance benefits for families, particularly parent to child transfers and grandparent to grandchild transfers. Some of the conditions on that, they're just under that component, are that the only property that your children or grandchildren can inherit from you with the tax benefit is your primary residence. So under the previous law, they can inherit your primary residence of any value plus up to $1 million in additional real estate without reassessment. Now, only the primary home counts with limits, and any other inherited property will be reassessed to market value. In order to, if I could, I'm almost done. I'll come back to a question. In order for your children or grandchild to qualify, they must make that home their primary residence within 1 year of the transfer. The transfer is the day of death. They also have to file for the homeowners exemption. It also places limits on the amount of on the value of the house and how much of that tax base can be transferred. The rule of thumb is if the home is worth less than $1 million, your kids or grandkids could inherit, there'll be no reassessment. Once it hits that $1 million mark, there's going to be a reassessment. You'll have the first $1 million will be taxed at the inherited rate, and anything over $1 million will be reassessed at market value. So you have a new blended rate. It's I will tell you candidly, and I know Meny's heard me say this a number of times, Prop 19, as it was adopted, was an absolute dumpster fire. It was unenforceable. And I've been trying to think of how do I come up with an analogy. So from the assessor's perspective, think of it this way. Let's say your relative bought you some furniture at IKEA that you didn't want. And they gave it to you with missing parts and no instructions. It said you have 1 hour to put it together because people are coming over to sit on it. That's what we were delivered when Prop 19 was adopted. We were given 3 months to implement the measure. Absolutely impossible. No way, there's nothing we could have done. No amount of money, no amount of personnel would have allowed us to implement that in 3 months. And I'll tell you just as a personal gripe, CAR was a mercenary. We told them we couldn't do it, they did it anyway. In order to clarify the problems in the measure, required legislation. I don't have the authority to interpret law. We need the legislature to interpret it for us. And they did introduce a bill, but that bill didn't go into effect until October 1st of last year. And in the meantime, last year, there's an LA Times story last week, and you've seen it. but they talked about senior citizens who are transferring their base year and they're getting hit with supplemental tax bills because they bought a more expensive home. We'll be able to remedy that, but we didn't process those cases because we didn't know how. We didn't have the authority. We needed the legislature to pass those laws, and once they passed them, we needed some time to update our technology, our workflow processes, and we're just now starting to process those cases. So I did send a message through some of the government affairs representatives with some associations. It's not fair that I'm getting my teeth kicked in publicly for something I didn't create. I said, I think maybe CAR needs to stand up and defend us because they're the ones who delivered this to us. We will catch up by the end of the year with all these applications. We now have what we need, but if you hear concerns and issues with Prop 19, that's the genesis. I think the last issue I wanted to talk about was alternative dwelling units. This has come up quite a bit with the passage of Senate Bill 9 last year. More and more homeowners are either building accessory dwelling units or considering building it on their property. SB 9, as you may recall, it allows in a single family residential zone, it allows the homeowner to split their lot into two and to build up to 4 residential units. It's important to note that if folks are going if they're going to split their lot, if they're going to build more units, if you add square footage, if you're adding bathrooms, if you're adding kitchens, that new construction is assessable and will be taxed. We do not tax the entire property for new construction. We tax the addition, usually using the cost methodology. So the way it would work is if you bought your home for $1 million and have a tax base based on $1 million, and then you spend $150,000 to enclose a porch, you'll then have a tax base on that $150,000 addition for a combined tax base of $1.15 million. It's also important to note, though, if you decide to do a lot split, all the direct assessments that were on that tax bill will be divided between the 2 lots. So there will be not only tax consequences for new construction, but also all those direct assessments and voter indebtedness will have to be apportioned between the 2 different lots. We're getting so many questions about this. I am putting together a webinar along with the LA County Department of Public Works and LA County Department of Regional Planning to answer a lot of how-tos with for those who are interested in building ADUs. It's going to be next week on March 23rd at noon. We have information on our website, which is assessor.lacounty.gov, and you can get your registration materials if you are interested. And the last thing I wanted to mention is that we spend a lot of time and resources thinking about you and your industry. We probably work more closely with realtors than anyone else in the county. We're all in the same business. In recognition of that, we've created a special page on our website. It's a toolkit for real estate professionals, and we put a couple pieces of information there. We put in information that we think will help make you a more informed real estate professional. We put in information there that we would like you to share with your clients and prospective clients, such as the homeowners exemption. And there's just a lot of other tools in there that we hope will be useful, and we urge you to bookmark that page. We also send out a quarterly newsletter for realtors. We don't send, and we try to put useful information. We don't send out pictures of me cutting ribbons or anything, but it's just useful information for property owners and for realtors, and I encourage you to check that out. In closing, just want to let you know, we did just, if you haven't checked out our website recently, we just newly rebuilt it. There's just all types of tools and resources available for you, including our annual report, which gives a city-by-city breakdown of a lot of statistics that might be informative to you. So that concludes my formal remarks. I'm happy to answer questions. I saw one in the back.
Regarding the 55-year and older, I won't call them a senior, but citizens that homeowners that sell, I'm just a little bit confused that there were 2 categories where they can do it again or do it anywhere throughout the state, and that was for fires and
so
is it only for those 2 categories, or can everyone now have 3 times to sell and buy more expensive and keep their tax?
you have to be 55 years or older, That's the main category. You have to be severely disabled, and there are some definitions about what severely disabled means. And then the third one is victims of natural disasters, flood, fire, earthquake. So if your home burns down in fire and you don't want to move back there, you can take your base here with you to a new home. On that one, you're allowed to move it once per incident. If your home burns 3 times, you move 3 times. But for a senior, you can move from LA to Yolo County and transfer your tax base. Then maybe you decide you want to buy a condo in San Francisco. After that, you can transfer it again without, it becomes, your tax base becomes portable.
What I'm trying to find out is, does any 55-year or older can buy more expensive and carry their tax now?
So-
or just those 2 categories?
No, all three can. Disabled, seniors, are 55 and older, and
Veterans, right?
Natural
Fire-
disaster.
natural disaster disabled.
Severely
Any.
Yes, and so- so you can- Yeah, over 55, and the CAR, their big emphasis was on 55 and older. They wanted people who were afraid to move because of the tax consequences to have more liberty to do so. So you can move 3 times. The average person's not going to move more than 3 times, which are actually a really good benefit. The only caveat is that if you purchase a home which is more expensive than the one you're vacating, and it's market value to market value, we will analyze the current market value of your property against the property that you're transferring to. If you're buying a home that's more expensive, there will be a tax increase. It will not be a market-based tax increase. It will be a blended rate of essentially the first $1 million of that property will be assessed at your transfer rate, and the value over $1 million will be assessed at market. And on our website, there's a tool. You can go in there and just enter the address of the property, the market rate of the property, and it will tell you what the new adjusted tax rate is. It's kind of like the supplemental tax estimator is. And we do that for the parent to child exclusion as well. In case-
How about
Isn't it
parents?
based on
How about the
tax base?
grandchild?
So a grandchild can inherit your property like a child only if your child, the child's parent is deceased. So you can't skip over a living child to give to the grandchildren.
No, I was just saying that it's based on the current property's tax base, right? Not the value. Like, it's like if I sold my house for $1.2 million, but my tax base is less than that because I bought my house 12 years ago or 20 years ago.
So you can, it's a little bit complicated. So let's say you bought your house in 1990 for $100,000, and then you sell it for $1 million.
Mhm.
And then you're gonna buy a house for 1.5 million.
Right.
So the number we look at, the tax base is what you're looking to try to transfer, that
Right.
$100,000 tax base. But we're gonna look at the market value of the home that you're selling, 1 million, and the home that you're buying, 1.5 million. Those are the comparables that we use to determine whether or not there's gonna be an adjustment in your tax rate. So if you sold a home for $1 million, bought another $1 million house, no change in your assessment.
Okay.
You could transfer that $100,000 tax base.
So what happens to my initial tax base that
So-
I have right now on my house?
So on your well, you're gonna transfer that to your new home. And you get the $1.5 million home that you're gonna buy. The first $1 million in value is going to be assessed at your 1990 base year, $100,000.
Okay.
$500,000 is going to be assessed at market value.
So it's not really based on my sale price, because my sale price would be more than what my assessed value is because of when I bought my house. That's what I'm trying to understand. So like my property taxes are only, just for an example, are only around $8,000 a year. If I bought my, because I bought my house in 2003, right? My house is worth more than what that tax base is because
So-
of 13.
But when you're transferring, the tax base you're trying to transfer is that 2003 transfer.
Yes,
That's what you want to keep.
yes.
That's not the number we use to compare, though. That's the number which will move. The number we look at is your sales price.
Okay,
If you sold that for more than you bought it for, and you're now purchasing another home, we're looking at sales price of your home and the purchase price of the new home.
okay. I understand the words that you're saying,
Sure.
but I'm trying to understand,
I-
I'm trying to understand the logic or how it's different. So you're basically gonna bump up my tax base to if it's $1 million, even though it's only $8,000.
if you're
Right
bu-
now, you're gonna increase it and then increase
If
it
you-
again, that's.
If you're buying a home, your purchase price of a new home is more than your sales price.
No,
of
I
the old-
get that it's the difference. I get
Yeah.
that. So it's my $8,000 now, right? Based on what my assessed value is now, plus what the difference between what I sell my house for and the new value.
So the,
I'm really not trying to be
yeah,
stupid.
no, it's hard for me to explain. I usually have one of my Prop
Imagine how
19
hard it is
experts
for
on,
us.
but
But if you use the tool on the assessor's website, the numbers will make sense.
Okay.
And especially in very specific cases.
so.
Okay.
under
Well,
the most-
I'm just using my house as an example, because I have a client that we're doing this for right now. And she's had her house for 20 years in Riverside, which she's selling for like the amount of money she would have to pay for a condo here.
The numbers that will help you determine what the taxes are the selling price and the purchase price. Those are the only things you need to pay attention to for, the primary things you need to pay attention to in terms of determining where the taxes are gonna go. It's a very complicated formula to get there. They did it for, the transaction was designed for ultimate confusion. And,
That makes
Well,
sense.
that's not, yeah.
That works, but
Okay.
if one thing I can suggest, because we are gonna give information afterwards, how you guys can connect directly with the assessor's office besides the tools, so you can have those specific questions. We only have like about 4 minutes before the.
Well, I have
assessor
one more
has to-
question.
So before that, we have 3 questions on the queue, so Maria?
Okay. For parent-to child transfer, if there's 3 kids, say that it's transferred to, only one moves into the house, does it get reassessed or will it?
no, that was actually one of the problems in Prop 19, because the way it was originally written, that there were 3 kids inheriting the property, all 3 had to live there, the way it was written.
Okay.
Which is not what they intended, that's what they wrote. We did fix that. So now, as long as one child moves in, they will be in compliance. And they can take turns. If one sibling wants to live there for 5 years and moves out, and another one moves in, they can carry that over as long as it's 2 other qualifying siblings.
For the kind of situation, so I was curious.
And then Jeanette, you have a question on the, I think you're unmuted. Do you want to ask a question?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
Yes, I have a question. Why is that the tax assessor taking so long to review the forms? Because we have a situation since November. My mother gifted a house to my daughter. So it's a grandmother to grandchild, and the form have not been reviewed, and it was submitted everything on November of last year.
You may not have been on the call when I explained a few minutes ago, but those types of transfers we were not processing those last year because we didn't know how, because of the new law. We're waiting for the new law to be clarified in order to process them. So there are lengthy delays. We're hoping if it was applied last November, we're hoping that we'll be to it by the end of June. I apologize, but we were handed a bit of a mess that we're still trying to figure our way out of. But if there's any tax consequences or penalties, you'll be made whole in the end.
Yes, I called yesterday. Actually, I called yesterday, and they are telling me that it's gonna take more than a year for that form to be reviewed.
They're probably being overly cautious in saying a year, but there's some things that could be. It depends on when it was received. It could be up to a year because we're still trying to dig our way out of a huge number of applications that we weren't able to process last year.
Okay.
Thank you, Jeanette, for asking that question. Maybe apply to others as well. Susie, another question?
Yes, hi Jeff. This is sort of as a personal situation with my parents. When my father passed away 7 years ago, we didn't assess the house, and now the house went to my mother because she's joint tenancy in the house, and she's the one that's the trust. It's a trust. So I just picked up the taxes the other day from the accountant, and he said, "Did you guys assess the house when your father passed away?" And I was like, "No." So is it too late, or we didn't sell the house yet?
No, if it was in a trust and it was one parent deceased, there were still certain things you were supposed to do. It sounds like you didn't do them. I don't think there should be tax consequences, but what I wanted to, if you have a pen handy.
Yeah, I do. Thank you.
See that phone number on the screen, call that number and ask for Robert Isozaki, Isozaki.
Okay, I don't see the number because we can't see the screen.
Oh, it's 213-974-3101.
Okay, so he'll help me.
He'll help you diagnose what happened and see what we can do to unravel it.
It's been 7 years ever since he passed away. I hope it's not too late.
Based on what you're telling me, it doesn't sound like it will be a problem. It is really important to know, though, that just because property is a trust does not eliminate your obligations to take certain steps, like letting us know when there's a death of property owner, such as filing a Prop 19. And actually, we do have another list of helpful tips we put on our website is steps to take when a property owner dies, because that gets more people in trouble with trust, estate planning. We put together a little guide and encourage you to refer to that.
Last question, Karen, it's a short one.
Yeah, well, I think it is. I know this is more a tax collector question than your question, but maybe you can point me in a direction. How do we get them to change the system of supplemental tax bills not being sent to the mortgage lender with the regular tax bill? Because that creates the biggest cluster in the world. I have 4 of them sitting on my desk right now.
I have no idea.
That's a good question.
I didn't know that they do that, but I would, one of the things I can offer you right now, I'm happy to work with you to get a representative from the tax collector's office to come and talk about a lot of their issues.
Do they have vests?
Yeah.
They travel with their own plexiglass screens.
I would love that. I would
Yes.
love that. Yeah. Karen, you gotta be here. You have to be here for that.
I'll be here, believe me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you all very much.
Jeff Prang, thank you so much. And again, like Aldo, you must send me whatever you guys want to send me so we can share with the team afterwards. And of course, the recordings. Jeff Prang, whatever you need from us, we're here to support.
So I appreciate it. Vote for me in June.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Good job. Thank you to our LA County Assessor and team. Oh, and also, Aldo, just one more about those handouts. Those 2.
Yeah, I'll leave some extra here in case people want to take some away from us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right. Once again, thank you, Mr. Prang. Thanks for the questions, by the way. That's what they're here for, so you can ask them directly, right? As much as they know and they can answer. And by the way, yeah, you can go to our YouTube channel, KW Shares, and look at yesterday's recordings. The guy he was mentioning, Robert, he had a whole full-on presentation about a lot of those things as well. So that's one of those, a few of those items as well. Ish, you're up next. What do you have for us?
Oh, boy. So I was trying to get some slides together for today and, give you guys some good insight, but I want to focus back on last week just because I feel there's so many different ways to buy a home now. And as we've closed so many deals in the last 20 months or so, who's left? A lot of the buyers who are W-2 salaried people, they bought their home. They're happy. Who's left? We're looking at people who are self-employed, people who don't show a lot of money on their tax returns, or people who just try to hide their money. So how do we get them into a home? So I just want to share this idea again. Go to the next slide. There are a lot of reasons why you can't have a regular conforming loan. Your file can't pass the DU system. You're over the ratios. You have recent credit events. You've been self-employed for less than 2 years, or you don't report a lot of money on your taxes. So there are ways for these people to get loans. And again, it's called a non-QM mortgage. It's a qualified mortgage. And the other reason why I wanted to bring it up today is I follow 8 or 9 different lenders on Facebook, Instagram, partly because I want to see what they're doing. What are they doing different that I can offer you guys to give you full value? And ever since I talked about this last week, I have seen a bunch of information go out on non-QM lending. Maybe I'm ahead of the curve, maybe I'm not, but this is still information you're gonna get from other lenders, other realtors, and your clients, because you know your clients research everything they do, from shopping from a home, shopping for realtors, shopping for a lender, to even shopping for IKEA, speaking of IKEA. So they're shopping, they're doing their research. So you need to be on par with what they're thinking to offer these products to them, because they are gonna ask you. If you don't mind going to the next slide. A lot of examples of non-QM products that are out there. The most common is bank statement loans. For the person who gets a lot of cash deposits or gets a lot of Venmo, they don't want to show it on their taxes. We can go off a 12-month average or a 24-month average to get them their income that they need. The only thing that's excluded are transfers from checking and savings, because then you're just commingling your money. But if you're getting cash deposits, Zelle transfers, PayPal transfers, even cash, we can add them up, we'll average over the last 12 months and get an average. Or we can do it over 24 months. The difference is how aggressive you want to be. If you only do 12 months, you need to put 15% down. But if you do 24 months, you can do 10% down. Rate is not that much more than conventional. Your rates are about 5.5%, 6%, which might seem kind of crazy because we've all been spoiled for the last 18 months, but there's definite value there. You can do a 1099 loan. I mentioned this last week. Everybody in this room got a 1099 last year. And you probably wrote off a lot of things: business expenses, advertising, the E&O insurance you guys have to pay, all the fees you guys pay, all the services you pay for, staging companies. You probably wrote off a lot of that income. With a 1099 loan, you give me your 1099. I offer a 25% expense factor, and you're done. The remaining 75% you can use to qualify for a mortgage. I don't need your tax returns. You can just keep them in your back pocket, keep doing your business, just like you do with your account. But you use your 1099, 25% expense factor, that's your qualified income. There's something called let me get the abbreviation right, a DSCR loan, where the mortgage is less than the rents that you're getting from the market rent. As long as you put enough money down, you can do a DSCR loan. As long as the rent outpaces the mortgage, you can get qualified. That's great for investors, especially if you have a client that's really cash heavy. You can have that as an option, and no tax returns, no bank statements, just showing the assets. There's a lot more non-warrantable condos, people who have more than 10 finance properties. So there's a ton of options for people out there who are not conventional, not FHA, not VA. So let's see. You have conventional, you have FHA, you have VA, you have non-QM, and you have cash. So you have 5 really different ways that you can have a buyer help buy a home. Hey, Mary, can you hit lights for me real quick?
Sure.
So you have 5 different ways that you can buy a home.
Show the screen.
So for all you out there, be your customer's stronghold. Don't snap them into place, but use every option available, because there's something out there with all the clients you work with, whether they're cash, non-QM, FHA, VA, or conventional. There's something for everyone. So let me know if you guys have any questions, or if you have clients who are interested in non-QM products, because they are for a lot of people, especially electricians, plumbers, construction workers, people who are less cash heavy on their tax returns. So let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm always available for you guys, and I'm gonna snap myself back into my seat.
Can I borrow that? Mary, shout out to Ish for being a superhero, an Avenger. That's super cool, man.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Any other shout outs?
I want to give a shout out to Sal for his information on Friday
Yes.
that you did, and Mary for moderating it. I think that was awesome.
Mary for moderating. Good job.
Yeah, awesome. Good job.
Thank you.
Shout outs.
Shout outs. Any
Anybody else?
I want to shout out to all of our Ignite hosts yesterday as well. Many, Jonathan, thank you so much for taking the time. We really do appreciate it. We know your time is very valuable. So we do absolutely, I'm very grateful that you stepped up, and we can't wait for tomorrow as well. Our entire ALC is actually participating on top of a couple of our agents as well. So thank you for that. Closing. Yes, Adela, Park Street, Leslie Gomez, Rendon, Brenda, Chambers, Neil, congratulations. We're on Prestige Team, Esplanade, Sergio Sarah, Basin Street, Team, you Collective, congratulations. More, and total production, $11 million. Wow. But great job, guys.
I've got 2 Sergios there.
Yeah.
Yep, okay, price reductions.
Nothing.
Yes, no price reductions. Moving on. New listings. Okay, Adela, are you on? Nope, okay, 988, looks like it's 352. Perfect. Wow, look at Inglewood, you guys cracking 900,000. Wow. Insane. That's just amazing. Insane. Insane. Jane, are you on, babe?
Yeah, I'm on. Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can.
Yeah, also I'm doing brokers today from 11 to 1. It's a fabulous 4-bedroom, 4-bath with panoramic rooftop deck that can be considered your 4th floor. Come see it. It was built in 2020. It's still brand spanking new in the heart of downtown San Pedro. Don't miss it.
Wow, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Anything else? Needs, wants?
Gordon?
Oh, okay, sorry, one more before I forget. Alice did have one up. Alice also has brokers open today as well. It is at 743 West 2nd Street. And she did leave us this beautiful flyer. And yeah, for, I didn't even see it, $6.99. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Visual effects.
Visual effects, yep. Okay, needs and wants, I'm sorry.
Anybody, anything you have coming up soon? Any buyer needs?
I think Gordon, did you wanted to say something?
Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
How you
You
doing,
know,
Gordon?
you mean as far as Deagle Corner?
Do you have any properties to promote? Any coming soon or anything, any needs?
Well, we have a townhome come up in the gardens. It's a double master suite, 2 bedrooms up with 2 bathrooms up and 1 bathroom down. That one's being completely remodeled. We should be done in about 2 weeks. And we're gonna probably put it in the high 6s is our guess at this point. We have another one that's gonna be in the gardens also. It's gonna be for lease for $3,000 a month. It's also the double master suite, 2 bedrooms up, 1 bathroom down, and 2 bathrooms up. That one has been kind of semi-remodeled. It's just in really good condition. New paint, new carpeting, new flooring, that kind of stuff, new appliances. That would be for $3,000 a month. So that's what I got.
Awesome, thank you.
Is that all right? Excuse my voice, everybody.
Thank you. All good. Anybody else?
Yes, it's Jane again. I have a listing coming up in Wilmington, a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, and it has a permitted studio in the back with an unpermitted half bath and kitchenette. So it's duplex-like, coming on the market later on this week.
Awesome.
For how much?
$599.
Oh,
What's the address?
I'll post it when I list it. Hopefully list it tonight or coming soon.
You got 2 offers already.
Awesome. Woo!
30 in escrow. $599, 30 in escrow, and a duplex.
Actually, we do have one we're putting up today.
Yes.
It's a duplex in Harbor City, listed for $789. The front house is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. The back house is a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. The rents are not too far off market, $1,950 and $1,650. And it has a humongous oversized 2-car garage plus the original 1-car garage with a workshop. So there's a good opportunity to add an ADU above the garages in the back. Wow. It's on a nice street, 1645 250 3rd Street, very residential. Yeah. Looks like you're driving right up to a house. So if you've got an owner user, a front tenant would have to be relocated. Her lease expires June 30th, but you know, she's a single gal, so it's about 10 grand, I think, to get her out of there. So, and then you've got a tenant already in place at the back. So that's a great opportunity, and I expect that one to go quick.
The back is the 16,
Is the 1 bedroom, yeah.
1 bedroom.
Yeah, it's a big, and it's very well kept. I mean, everything's updated, roof's in good condition, double pane windows, plumbing's updated, everything's in good shape.
Yeah, and 253, that's a really nice neighborhood too. Yeah.
It is.
Wow.
Mark, what do you have?
Yeah, I was just going to ask if Karen by chance knows if Airbnb is allowed in that city.
It's LA, so you have to, their rules are to be your principal residence for at least 6 months out of the year.
Yep.
LA has weird rules.
And you have to get the permit, and you have to pay the daily taxes as well, or occupancy taxes as well in addition. So you can go online and do the research. I forgot in under the LA City website, I forgot what tab is that under, but they have a special division for that since 2019.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Anybody else?
Okay.
Okay.
All right, well, so a little update real quick. Anton and Sharon, actually their GoFundMe got suspended because they thought that, you know, the money was going directly to the actual person and not the source. But it sounds like it's up and running. So if you do still want to donate to Ukraine and help the family out there, you can absolutely do that through GoFundMe. And she's doing a great job in showing where the money's going. So the friends that's currently in Ukraine right now is sending videos, keeping up to date, actually showing what they're doing, purchasing, and we can actually see where all the products are going, and it is to the families that is out there. So it's going direct to the source, and it's not through a foundation. So
Anybody saw the interview yesterday with the Ukrainian president?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
asking Biden for support.
Yeah.
That was
yeah,
funny.
that was interesting
So
to get those updates as well from the field and stuff like that. So
I found out that my wife has a really big crush on him.
that's
Yeah, that was great.
interesting.
Use it.
Better get that hand out, right?
Yeah, you better snap that.
so let's think about that for a second. Eh?
Right. Upcoming events, you guys are so excited. I know, obviously, we've been having events, but we would love to have you join us tomorrow evening. St. Patrick's celebration at the Prime. We will kick off at 5 o'clock. We did put an end time because we know our crowd. We will have appetizers, and just come on out and bring your spouse. You're more than welcome to. I was gonna say bring your kids, but it is a bar, so but it is also a restaurant as well. But please join us. Headshots. Okay, so to all my newer agents, ones that require headshots, we actually have a photographer coming into our office and setting up shop. It is very reasonable, $45. You get between 10 to 15 poses, and you actually get all your photos. And then you will pick the best one, and he will edit that for you. So don't worry if you have flaws, a zip that day, we'll take care of it. So, and it is miles rated. So, and he's done things in the past for us. So we have his qualities
Good
rated.
price as well.
Yeah, great price. April 7th, and there's also a sign-up sheet already because we're gonna try to get you in and get you out because we want to make sure that we're gonna respect each other's time as well. 20 minutes, we're in, we're out, okay? Upcoming classes, thank you. So all of our upcoming classes, if you have the time, 30 minutes every morning, 8 a.m. to 8:30, jump on that Zoom. That's the producer's mindset. I know I talk about it all the time. It's because I'm passionate about it as well, because it changed me on who I am as a person, as a real estate agent, and sometimes as a wife as well, and a mom. I also do growing. So I dropped my script class, and what I'm doing is growing your dreams, growing your wealth, every Monday now from 3 to 4. So please, it is hybrid or Zoom, but just jump on and we can kind of mastermind, chop it up, talk real estate, talk about what we're doing, what you're doing, and kind of getting you to that next level as well. Yeah.
So that's weekly?
That's gonna be weekly,
Okay,
correct?
that's great.
Yeah, I actually had a call, or I had one this past Monday.
How can we get a copy of that?
It's actually on our hub, and so our KWLAH
So-
Harbor Hub.
Yeah, if you're gonna go to, let me just put my hat on the side of it for a second. KWLAH Harbor
Okay.
hub.com, and that's the hub. So you got tons of resources. We should, where's another, maybe you or Jenny can do a class about that. Honestly, just one class about just go through all the resources we put for you guys. And if you're gonna go to career development,
Oh,
to career development over here, then you have all the links to the training calendars. Okay, like March, click on over here, you see the entire month. It's gonna show this specific week over here, right? And if you want to go, to something specific, click on it. Like this one, will take you to the Zoom of the session, the meeting, or whatever. You have the annual kind of plan for the year, 12 months ahead, of the major events, and you have like a little key over here what that is. So you can plan, like you want to be in that specific book club in July, whatever that is, right? And tons of other resources over here. And of course, all the other kind of elements. We did update market trends recently. It's gonna load in a second, I guess, for cities around us over here, like various elements of price points, etc. So you can take a look at that, and you can subscribe to that too. And vendors that you guys refer to the office throughout the years. If you don't see anybody that you want people to know and share, promote their business, let us know. We're gonna add them to here and other stuff. Again, you guys can do a whole session about that.
Yes, absolutely. And then also one more class that we're also going to start is our tech class, so commands. So obviously we'll make sure that we add in the hub just so how you can navigate through that. And our very own Natalie's going to be teaching that with Jenny as well. And we'll make sure that it goes on the calendar. So if you haven't started command, or I shouldn't say that, you should already start command, but if you need to deep dive into command, definitely participate in the classroom. So we can help you through that as well. Ignite, obviously, it's back, kicked off yesterday, and it's going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays for the next 3 weeks. We are crunching it. We're doing 3 sessions a day, so we're crunching it all in, and then we will restart the program again next quarter.
That's awesome, yeah. And then our monthly session, the mastermind, is going to be at the art of negotiation. We're going to have a few of the agents participating. If you guys interested to participate, or if you have again, go back to the hub, right? And just go back just to show you again. Go back to the hub, to career development. On the right hand side, you're going to have other events, right? If you're going to go to the mastermind events, you're going to see that the entire years was 12 or a few more sessions and events, so you can kind of plan ahead. And if you say, hey, can we have that agent participate in that specific October 13th mega open house? I want to learn from him. We're going to reach out. Okay, so help us to capture the source. It doesn't have to be a KW person, but preferably, because we have a lot of success in our offices, and it's going to be awesome to share what we do, right? But we can always think outside the box. And so that's on the 24th, next Thursday, 2 p.m. Over Zoom, right? I'm not sure if I'm going to be here physically, but it's going to be over Zoom, so you guys can participate.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And then the real estate school Zoom session. So that's also what I'm targeting is, if you know anyone that is looking to get into real estate, obviously we're currently offering free schooling right now. So have them take advantage of the program, and they can reach out to me, Natalie, or Jenny. Okay?
Yeah, and you can get the links from the front desk, or again, it's on our hub that we share the same website. The links are over there, so you can refer them.
Yeah.
Swag.
Yeah.
So
we send out t-shirts.
So Natalie used to be a small.
I'm still a small.
She's still a
She
small.
is still a small, actually.
It's stretching, medium and large. And
So if Meny doesn't, if he starts this, I don't know why. If all of a sudden nobody can find Meny, don't ask Natalie. If there's a pile of dirt, don't ask questions.
I think I need that one, to disappear.
Yeah. And then happy anniversary, congratulations on being with us. Alex, Laura, Peter, Donna, Sergio, Antonio, Candice, and Homera. Philomera, thank you. Happy birthdays to Charlene, Michael, Gordon, Blanca, Laura, Danielle, and Eva this week as well. I know. And of course, oh my God. So I spoke to Riley last week, and my heart just burst. So congratulations, Riley Eastman, on the new Eastman clan. Jack Mason, born March 1st, 2022. Jack was very stubborn. He didn't want to come out during at the due date, so he was about a week and a half late. But so adorable. Yeah, so adorable. Mommy and baby is very healthy, family's doing good, and Riley is just focused on the family at the moment.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats. Yeah, and thank
That's-
you.
That's all we have, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your questions.
Yes.